for being a part of this. I'm trying to bring my screen up. So can you see my screen?
Yes, please.
All right. So yes. So this evening we want to do a bit of a detour from the regular, and to speak about a topic that may not necessarily apply to everybody, but I think that there are a whole lot of people who need to hear this, because there are a lot of people that I see that continually are challenged by certain storms that life throws at them. And the one thing about life is that we must have the ability to be able to face storms and come out of those storms, survive them, adapt, overcome them, and become even stronger than we are. And the inability of some people to overcome certain storms and certain challenges that life throws at them actually leads to their downfall. I think that for many of us who are here, this does not necessarily have to be our case. So this topic, broken, doesn't necessarily mean finished. It's something that you might already have an idea of where we are going, but all the same, I think that I will take my time to really dive deep into it. And with time, I'm going to be sharing some materials to really give us the perspective of the topic. So about 3 weeks ago, while I was thinking of what we're going to be discussing for this session and praying to God and looking for direction about what we're going to be doing, I came across 2 videos on social media in one day, the same day, 2 videos. The first video was about a conductor guy who was interviewed. I mean, this content creator, they interviewed him and they were asking him how he ended up being a conductor, and he shared the story about how his dad, left. His dad died while he was quite young. He had 3 brothers, so he makes 4 of them. He and his 3 brothers. So his dad died while he was quite young, and then a few years later, I mean, of course, they were left with the mother alone to take care of them and to fend for them. And it would appear that at some point, the burden of taking care of 4 children became too much for the woman. And the one day she just left the house and disappeared, and went away to her parents, leaving this guy who was the first son and then 3 other siblings. So 4 of them. And life was extremely difficult for them. Extremely difficult for them. And at a very young age, maybe about 11, 12, he had to get into the streets to try to fend for the siblings, and of course took up the role of the father and the mother at that early stage to try to fend for the siblings, to try to see that they survived. And he was completely broken. He was already hit by life, and you could see that he needed help. And he was asking them that if only he could get some money to for him to raise some money. He was doing the conductor to raise some money to be able to buy a sewing machine so that he can go to the work of tailoring, which he learned, that he wasn't really happy being a conductor. And I mean, that video kind of broke me, because I also understood that there are a lot of young people in that circumstance. And then that same day, I also stumbled on another story of a young lady in the School of Law here in Lagos, who in the law school here in Lagos, who committed suicide. I'm sure some of us probably heard that story. Who committed suicide here in Lagos just about 3 weeks ago. same day. And it's and not long later, I also saw another video of a young guy who was obviously struggling with substance abuse, and they were asking him what gives him joy, and he was saying that it is colos. That once he's on colos, that colos is the only thing that gives him joy, that there is nothing to be happy about in Nigeria and everything. And it was obvious that life is really dealing with young people. And life is really hitting so many young people very hard. Hitting so many young people from different angles and different corners. Some of us might have had it a bit easier, but may not necessarily understand what a lot of young people are dealing with emotionally, mentally, psychologically. And and we see some adults today who are what we would not want to be. And we may really not understand that some of their challenges started even as a young person, even while they were young. And life had been quite unfair, if you like, to some people. So, I also realized that some of us, like I said, might be lucky. We might have parents. Our parents might be there. God has been good to us. We were raised by parents, both parents there, even if both were. And some are lucky that they were able to go to school, they were able to have good support system, they were able to finish school and get decent jobs, and some people are able to finish school, get jobs, get married, and life seemed good to them, and then yes, at times we might tend to look at those people who are not really getting by in life and feel that, oh, maybe we are better off, or we know how to, we are smarter, or we are luckier, but it's just a case that, yeah, we are just luckier, and maybe it's just grace of God sometimes. And this situation should help us, rather than look down on those people who are unable to go get by in life, who are unable to measure up to where we are, and look at them like they really do not know how to do it. It should help us to be able to appreciate God more, and help us to develop what we call empathy and understanding for others. Right. So to those group of people, and there are many of them, millions of them, so many of them, I've come across a lot of them physically every day. Many young people who are being dealt with seriously by life, who you might say Nigeria is happening to, who life is happening to. Some people who have been broken, some people who are going through a phase in life that only they understand, and you really may not understand if you did not walk in their shoes. And there are quite a lot of them. Like the example of the young guy I mentioned whose mother left them. Like the example of the young lady in law school, brilliant, smart young lady who probably got hit by a lot of life challenges, and didn't think of any other way than to commit suicide, because she was overwhelmed, because she was tired, because she was broken. But there are a lot of young people like that. Some people have suffered loss at a young age. Lots of loved ones. It could be parents, it could be a mentor, someone who has been there, who has helped them in life. And that loss has left a big vacuum, a hole in their hearts that has refused to be filled. And such people have continually think that the all hope is lost, because those are people who are really there for them. Or there are some young people, maybe even on this call, maybe even listening to me right now, who are dealing with addiction of whatever form of addiction. It could be drinking, it could be smoking, it could be drugs. Like the example of the young guy I cited. Everybody sees you outside and they think that you are well off, they think you are fine. But in actual fact, you know that in your secrets, you're dealing with addiction, you're on drugs. It could be cocaine, it could be colos, it could be gum, it could be whatever it is, various names, you know. And if you look at yourself and look into your future, you're just not seeing any way out for yourself. Like I said, it's possible you're on this call, and life might have dealt with you, and something must have pushed you to becoming an addict. There are people who maybe theirs is no addiction, but maybe it's a form of a heartbreak. And they've suffered some heartbreak. Maybe they've had relationships for years, and somewhere along the line, the person just switches off and decides to pull the plug, and you're wondering where you're going to start from. You're broken. You're really you're really your life is really a mess, and you think that you can't love again. You think that you can't really enjoy what others enjoy in life, or there are people who have been abused, many young people who have suffered one abuse or the other, psychological abuse, emotional abuse. Some people are abused by even their parents, it could be their father, it could be people they stay with, and they've had to deal with that. Maybe can't even open up to anybody, and there are a lot of young people who are dealing with their own trauma or the other, maybe trauma from childhood, maybe some experience in childhood that left you completely messed up, and you are into your adulthood now, but those habits seem not to be able to leave you because somebody has messed you up, and you think that your life cannot even be better than this. And there are some people who are actually dealing with some form of illness or the other. They've been diagnosed with one form of illness. Some people feel that, oh, you only have to manage this illness for the rest of your life, and there is no solution to it. Or perhaps there is even a solution, but the cost of getting the solution is completely off for them. So many young people like that. Some young people are considered the social misfits. You might be one of them who maybe you had some mistakes as a young lady and you had a child outside wedlock, and the narrative that no young man will marry a woman who has a child outside wedlock, or who is a single mother, or no young person marries a child who is raised by a single mother. And societal narratives has really messed your sense of belonging, your sense of self-confidence, and you are suffering what you would consider you do not have confidence in yourself, and your confidence level is really diminished and is way low, way low, and your self-pride and ego has completely been decimated because of what people say, because of your circumstance or your situation, or because of a situation that seems so difficult for you to fix. And the truth of the matter is, you really tried. I'm talking to somebody, just trying to talk to you, and I speak. I might not necessarily have mentioned whatever it is that you consider your own storm, or you consider your own injury, or your own trauma, or your own challenge. I might not have mentioned it directly, but somewhere this is resonating with you because you are not seeing yourself in the typical way that you can see that life has been good to you. Maybe you consider yourself as someone who life has been unfair to. Right? Those are the people I'm actually speaking to. And the truth of the matter, you really tried. You have tried to cope. You've tried to shake off the feelings. You've tried to get your confidence back. You've tried to work on your self-esteem. You've tried to come out of that the addiction, come out of that relationship that messed you up, that's broken you, but you seem stuck. You seem stuck, you seem drained, you seem dejected. It seems that you're just going to have to live with this for the rest of your life. And I like to tell you tonight that what happened to you is real, what happened to you is unfair, and it really mattered, and that you are not alone, and that you might think that life has not been good to you, and that the pain that you feel and the disappointment you feel, the loss that you feel, the loss for self-esteem, your pride has been shattered, your future that looks bleak. It might feel permanent. It might feel like this is what you have to deal with for the rest of your life. It might feel like life is just not good to you, and you just have to live with that. And shame might make it look like you are worse off than every other person, and comparing yourself to others might make it look like everybody is moving ahead in life but you, and nobody really understands what you are having to deal with. Even as a married person, even as a couple, people really don't understand, and they see you smile, they see you try to put up appearances and try to look the best of yourself, but inside you are dealing with, you're broken. You see, I like to tell you that at the end of the day, it's the pain that you feel does not really define you. It's an experience, it is not you. And this is something you really need to understand and take away from this. That life may be unfair, but I like to show you this evening somebody who life was actually unfair to also, and what became of them. There are two videos I'm going to play, and those videos are going to they're going to speak to everything I need to speak to tonight, and I'm going to stop there. So let me try to get the videos up. Give me a minute. Not sure the videos are coming on. Just give me a minute. No, I want to get that video up first. The next video. So I want to show two people who how to deal with life, and just dive on the points today that it doesn't matter where you are right now. It doesn't matter what you are dealing with right now. It doesn't matter where life, what you think life is doing to you right now. It matters more how you respond to your challenges. It matters more how you confront those challenges. It matters more what you make out of life. Just give me a minute, I'm coming. Okay, let me get the Jeremiah's video. This is not coming up.
Sure, I would have liked to have had. I'll never know what it's like to have a great dad. I'll never know what it's like to be able to sit on my dad's lap, put my arms around his neck, and just get a hug without fear that it's going to turn into something else.
All right, so
I'll never know what it's like.
So now, this is a woman, Joyce Meyer, somebody I'm sure many of us, especially if you're a Christian, you're probably familiar with. And I came across her story while preparing for this meeting, and it's really inspiring. I really needed to listen to this. I'd like you to watch and listen to everything she has to say, because I believe that in this video, there is healing for somebody. And this is going to be speaking directly to the heart of somebody's challenge tonight. So I want you to listen as I play this.
Have a great day. I'll never know what it's like to be able to sit on my dad's lap, put my arms around his neck, and just get a hug without fear that it's going to turn into something else. I'll never be able to be hurting.
Please, can somebody confirm that it is audible?
Just tell him what I'm going through and have him really care. I'll never have that. And literally what he did was...
Yes, it is. Yes.
All right.
And he did it every week, at least once a week, until the time I was 18. I did a little bit of math and realized that my father, whom I was supposed to be able to trust, who was supposed to keep me safe, raped me a minimum of 200 times before I became 18. But I have something better. Because I have a walk with God and a relationship with God that is the absolute most wonderful and precious thing in the whole world.
So this is a 9-minute video, but I want you to listen to every bit of it. At the end of it, we just close up and then we share experiences, and that's all.
I will take you up and adopt you. And I will make you my own child. Amen? One of the things I remember that was and of all the ridiculous places to take me to do what he was going to do to me was he took me to a graveyard. And that's where he'd have sex with me in the car. And if anyone came around, then we'd have to get out of the car and pretend like we were looking at graves. And 666666666. He worked nights as a truck mechanic, and so I was at school most of the time during the day, and I only had to deal with him on the weekends. But I tell you, I hated summers. Couldn't wait to go back to school. Lots of mornings he'd come and wake me up and put his hands on me under the covers. I prayed for my dad to die. That didn't happen. I prayed for my mother to leave him. That didn't happen. I prayed he'd leave me alone. That didn't happen. I didn't God help me. I was praying. I was asking him. I was this innocent little kid being abused. Well, you know what? I don't have the answers to all that, but I can tell you that by faith I now understand. That's why that scripture that I shared last night about by faith we understand how the world was made. You know, I can't explain it to you in my mind, but I know that God didn't get me out of it, but he did give me the strength to go through it. And listen, I remember when I was a teenager laying in bed at night, which was my favorite time when my dad was still at work, to lay in bed when it was quiet. And in my little childish way, I would pray then, and I would think, someday I'm going to do something great. Someday I'm going to do something great. I believe that God puts a seed of greatness in everyone. I believe there's more capabilities inside of you than what you can even begin to imagine. But Satan tries to diminish us. He tries to demean us and belittle us through people mistreating us. But I want you to know today that Even though I was being abused and abandoned, it seemed that nobody was going to help me and that it would never end. Right in the midst of that, God had a plan. God had a plan. And I cannot explain this to you, so don't even ask me to. But for years I said, of course, I wish that I would have never been abused. But God has helped me recover. And about 3 years ago, I said that, but of course, I wish I wouldn't have been abused. And God stopped me, said, stop saying that. And then I thought about it and I thought, and I know this sounds crazy, but I'm glad it happened. You know why? Because I'm a better person now than I ever would have been. I don't know how to make any sense out of that, but I know that I know that I know God has redeemed me. He has taken what Satan meant for harm and worked it out for good. That's a person that would have been. That did not happen. And you can be too. I'm stronger. I know God better. I understand people's pain. And I believe that it's made me able to reach out to you, your pain and your need, and to tell you with all passion, God is alive. He loves you. He's got a good plan for your life, and don't you ever doubt that. Don't ever doubt that. Can you recover? You're looking at somebody who did. Amen. You're looking at the evidence that you can recover. There's no pit so deep that he can't reach down in it and lift you out. He will set your feet on a rock. He will give you a wonderful life. He will give you beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the spirit of heaviness. He will make you a tree of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified. And he will give you a double blessing for your farmer trouble. Come on, give God praise. Hallelujah. When I got into my teenage years where he would get very drunk, and he'd force me to have sex with him in the back seat of the car. Once a police officer caught him, and I thought, finally, somebody's going to help me. I was so glad. But he and my father talked outside the car for a while, and my dad finally told me, he said, I told him you're my cousin, and he promised to let us go if I would let him have sex with you, so you're going to just have to do it because otherwise we're going to end up going to jail. Well, thank God the police officer got a call on his radio, and I got out of that one. Now, how can that have happened to me and me stand here before you today in the condition I'm in today if God is not alive and well? I'm playing away. How is that possible without God? The biggest black eye that you can give the devil is to give God your pain and let him turn it into gain. To give him your mess and let it become your message. Because see, when I tell you that I know what it's like to hurt, you believe me. And when I tell you my testimony and I tell you that I am healed and whole and sane and well, and I've got a great marriage of 43 years and 4 kids that are serving God and 10 grandchildren, that I love my life, I think I'm being of value to the kingdom of God. That gives you hope. That gives you hope that God will do it for you. That's why I'm doing this, because I want people to know how good God is. And that your struggle is worth it. Your journey is worth it. Don't give up. Don't give up.
All right. I think the message is clear. Don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. Whatever your pain is, whatever your trouble is, that is a woman who was raped more than 200 times. 200 times. More than 200 times before she was a teenager. Raped more than 200 times by her father. But here she is today. Her mess has become her message. Her pain has become her story. And God is using her to reach out to millions all over the world right now. See, I don't explain that. So, I don't know what it is that you're going through and whatever it is that you feel is a challenge for you. I don't know what it is that you are battling with. I don't know what it is that you think that has broken you. Hello, you're not finished. You're not finished. You're not finished. Your story is just starting. God is preparing you. God is using you. God is molding you. He's taking you through whatever it is that you're going through because he wants to make your life a message. God loves you and you have a future. There's a future for you. I don't know who it is that has to hear this today, but that pain is not you. It doesn't define you. It doesn't mean your end. It is not perpetual. It will not be there forever. I don't know what you might be dealing with that is worse than what Joyce Meyer, whose video we just finished watching, has had to deal with. Raped more than 200 times by her father. He dealt with so much abuse all through her teenage and childhood years. But see what God has done with her life. See, there are a few things that I really need you to take note of very quickly. And the first is that you're not finished. You're not finished. You might feel that, oh, your situation is hopeless and what you're dealing with, that's the end of it all, and you're never going to come out of it. But you're not finished. God is actually preparing you for something greater. You see? I also want you to know that what happened to you is not you. It's an experience. It does not define you. It does not define you. It does not mean that you are less. It does not mean that you are inferior. It does not mean that you are unfortunate. It does not mean that you are misfortunate. It is just an experience. And if you see it that way, you're going to come out of it. You see? And thirdly, I'd like you to talk to God. Ultimately, God is our maker. He knows us more than we know ourselves. And he's got better plans for us. So whatever it is that you're going through, you have a friend in Jesus. You can talk to him. He'll help you. He'll bring you out of it. You come out stronger. You come out better. And you're going to be a living testimony of how good God is. I know it sounds like I'm preaching right now, but I don't know who I'm sent to. And I just felt led that this is what we should be having today. I just felt that your story is not over. That your story is not finished. Your story is not finished. And God is just starting with you. Ladies and gentlemen, I will stop here today. And what I would like to do next is to open the floor. And perhaps there are people on this call who wants to share some experiences to strengthen somebody. I mean, I have personal experiences that one day maybe God will help me to also share. I mean, a lot of people see me and they think that, oh, life has been good. No, it's not really like that. Some people know my story too. And some challenges I had as a child and what I had to deal with. And well, here we are today. So I'm going to open the floor. This is 6:43. If you have a contribution or a question, or maybe the story of Joyce Meyer or whoever it is that I've spoken about today resonates with you, and you also think that you would like to share a story to strengthen someone and encourage someone, and to let somebody know that they might be broken, but they are not finished. So the floor is open. You might want to raise your hands. The floor is open now. Anybody wants to ask a question, or you are dealing with a particular challenge and you think that you need answers? Moderator, you can take over now. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Pastor Oluwaseun, and I think everyone is now in a reflective mode, thinking deeply and just reflecting on some of those things that you've shared. And like you said, we're just going to open the floor for personal experience sharing moments, past experiences that you feel will motivate somebody out there on the call, maybe somebody that will still be coming back to this session recording. I will be listening to some of the conversations that we're having and will feel inspired. We're just going to open the floor. I think there's a phrase you made mention of, which is turning a mess to a message. I've always been a fan of that. We carry out that particular message. I always have this mentality that whatever mess you're going through, trust me, is a message for somebody of another generation. When you look at some of those great people, particularly the ministers of God that are well respected in different denominations today, when you look at their backstory, they will tell you, know that yes, sometimes God is not interested in the so perfect people. He's actually looking for the imperfect so that he can make them perfect. He's looking for the damaged so that he can actually make some arrangements and then make them a vessel. So I'm always a kind of that mentality that yes, your mess today will become a message for somebody tomorrow, as long as you don't give up, as long as you keep pushing and you come out of it. Trust me, whatever you're communicating, you're speaking out of experience, and that's one skill that even in my own field as a trainer, that's one skill that everybody must have. We don't believe in having just theory experience or book knowledge, but you having the practical experience. That's what makes you a good facilitator in our own field. So the floor is open. Let's start sharing. Feel free to unmute, feel free to raise your hand. You can keep your video off if you don't want your video to be displayed, and then let's just hear the voice. Anyone willing to share? Feel free to unmute, and just take the floor.
I mean, people could also have questions, observations, yeah. And if they like to reach out privately, that's also fine.
Okay, I think I can see a show of hand. Oluwadari,
hello.
Yes, please.
Hello. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you for this. I didn't come early. I was doing something, but I came in. But I had the message of Joyce Meyer who said, "Don't give up." But one thing I want us to know, as Christians or wherever you are, you must face challenge in life. How you now handle the challenge will now make you or to mark you. Every person, individual, in any stage of your life, you face one challenge or the other. And most people, when they are facing those crises, they are asking why. Not a matter of why. It's a matter of this thing that's happening to me. What do I need to learn about it? What is the message to me? Because every crisis you face in life, we either make you to grow higher or break it down. I want us to know that the more good or higher vision you have, the more challenge you will face. But what will happen is when you are going through those challenges, let your vision be on. Because that's the saying that always says there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. No matter what happens, keep your vision alive. Go through that crisis and learn. If you need to open up to some people, open up to them. Get counsel to them from them. If you need to read books, read books. I'm saying everyone in life will face a challenge or the other at any stage that we cannot escape it. Please be strong. I read the book. I'm trying to get the title of that book. I can't recall it. That no matter the crisis you face, the way you handle it will determine what you become. If you have those the great men today, they have a lot of challenges they face, but we don't know. We only have their stories or how they made it, but what they passed through, we don't know. The bridges they cross, we don't know. But we only have their story. This person has done this, and has made it. We also can get to that level. Don't allow any crisis to sink you. Please hold on to your vision. What has God told you? What do you have in mind that you want to grow? Grow with it. Don't allow anything to limit you. Because the more you want to achieve, the more challenges that come on your way. Handle them with wisdom. I know that whatever you have in life or want to achieve is very, very possible. So far, you make up your mind that you are going to overcome any challenge that come your way. Thank you. God bless you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks so much, Oluwadari. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that. Awesome. Yes, the floor is still open. The floor is still open.
And I think there is something I really quickly need to mention. He spoke very powerfully, and for whoever is listening, there are so many things. His words, wraps, encapsulates everything that we've actually shared so far today. There's challenges will always come. Nobody grows in life without having to face those challenges. Nobody grows. Nobody amounts to anything without having to face some difficulties. Like they say, nothing good comes easy. But as long as you know where you are going, and you hold on to your vision, you hold on to God's plan for you, you surely get there. But you made a mention of a point which I think is very important, that learn how to speak to people. Learn how to confide in people. Godly people know who to talk to. You see, sometimes we die in silence because we refuse to open up and share our concerns and share our challenges and share our pains. It helps. It lightens you up when you share your pains. It makes you feel lighter when you share your challenges with some people who are actually better placed to advise you, who have seen it all, who have better experiences. Sometimes they may not even provide solutions. But the fact that you open up to some people, you release certain burdens that you are carrying in yourself, and then it makes you feel lighter. And then the urge to do certain things, maybe go down in depression or commit suicide or do whatever, is taken off when you're able to open up to people. So please, let's learn to talk to people. Open up when we are facing those challenges. God bless you. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, thank you. Thank you once again, Stan Pastor Luashan. Thank you once again, Oluwadari, for sharing that. Yes, the floor is still open. I'll just go ahead and share something also I experienced just yesterday. And I just came across that reel on Instagram and I saved it. I always save some of those things for reference purposes. And in that reel, there was an athlete that was running. It's this high jump race, and immediately started. He fell while trying to jump the first ladder, and he fell down. And the expectation from everyone was, oh, there's no point running again, because the others he was competing with were far ahead of it, and it was expected that let him just stop. There was no point running, and instead of doing that, instead of going by the worldly mentality, he stood up and then he started running. And that was where I took the lesson from. At that moment, the race just began, and this time around, he wasn't running or competing against anybody. He was competing against himself, competing against the version of himself that fell, the version of himself that would have given up, the version of himself that wouldn't have made it at all. Sometimes we run race and competing with people when there are things that we can achieve even on our own without comparing ourselves, without looking at people around us. Challenges will always come, just like we have shared on the call. But it's now led for us to take that decision to really want to compete about the side or the mentality that feels that, no, I can't make it. It's now the time for us to take those bold decisions and say, no, if this is what the world is expecting from me, no, I'm not going to yield to that. This is what I am going to do for myself. And that was what I took from that race. He wasn't competing with anybody. He was moving at his own pace. And even that didn't happen, he would still be trying to struggle to want to be ahead of others. But from that moment, there was no one with him anymore. He was just moving at his own pace and then competing against the version of himself that could have given up, that would have said, no, there is no point going ahead with this. Let me just move past the line and let's not finish. So the goal for us should be still forging ahead, still pushing, still trying to get to the finish line and competing against the negative version of ourselves, because that version will always be there. That voice, that negative voices will always come up. It's now led for us to keep pushing and keep trying not to fall for that. I think that's something that we should also learn from. Thank you. Yeah, the floor is still open. The floor is still open. The floor is still open. Please feel free to share something you came across, something you experienced personally, or you know of somebody that experienced it and it's a fact and it is real. Feel free to share. Feel free to share.
And thank you very much. While waiting for some other people to raise their hands, I think you mentioned something very important, and that is comparing yourself to others. And somebody said that the greatest thief of joy is comparison. And even the Bible said that those that compare themselves with themselves are not wise. I think one of the things that makes so many people depressed and feel like they are behind in life, feel like they are not measuring up, is comparing themselves with others. Hello, you are not running anybody's race. And it's very important you know that right from now, that God created you as an individual. You are created with your own specific purpose. You are customized. Okay, you are customized by God. You are not created into a competition. You are not in a competition with anybody. And so when you see certain things that are going on in your life, it is easy for you to conclude that life is not good to you. It's easy for you to conclude that you are behind in life. It is easy for you to conclude that you are not achieving things that your mates are achieving. Who tells you that you are in any competition with your mates? Who tells you that what your mates are achieving is what you should be achieving? Who tells you that God does not have a different plan and purpose for you than the so-called thing that your mates are achieving? Who tells you that? It is sometimes people say that, oh, I should be getting married by this age. I should be getting married by this age. And I say, who determines what age people get married? Who determines? Is it the society? Is it people? Or is it you yourself and what your God is telling you that this is the way you should go? You see? So you must understand the fact that we are not in competition with anybody in life. So when you know, just like he said, that whoever you're in competition with should be yourself, the version of yesterday. What you must seek to do is to be better than who you were yesterday. And that's the most important thing. Any other thing is secondary. If you really want to be happy in life and really want to be grateful, then you must learn not to ever compare yourself with anybody. Because your journey is different, just as your fingerprint, just as your name, just as your face. You have a peculiar identity, and you have a peculiar calling, you have a peculiar goal, and God's will for you is different from every other person. So please be yourself. Thank you very much.
Hi, thank you. Okay, the floor is still open. We still have a few minutes. I just shared the link to the reel I just shared earlier on. Feel free to just watch that maybe after the session and just learn from that experience. The floor is still open. We still have about 3 minutes. About 3 minutes left for the session. Feel free to share.
And perhaps if you have somebody else's experience that you've come across and it inspires you, and you also think that when you share it to inspire others, you have the floor. Today the session is deliberately short so that we can we can have plenty of room for contributions.
Okay, I guess there is none.
So I think in the absence of one, we can round off for the day.
All right, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much once again. Please let's give our convener virtual emojis, virtual claps, confettis. Let's celebrate him for just going this direction. And trust me, there is always a purpose and a reason for every happening. And we just want to thank God for leading us through this direction. Thank you so much, sir, for always being available to share insights, ideas, perspective that can always motivate and help us to keep holding on to that mandate of mind shifting. Sometimes we shift our mindset by learning from other people's experience, and that's what the goal of this initiative is all about. Bringing in different perspective, personal reflections, life issues, secular issues, skill areas, just to keep helping us have the right mindset for every endeavor, every life issues, and every event that we face. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you. And we appreciate everyone on the call also today. Thank you for joining. Thank you for being consistent. I've seen people that have been very consistent with this program, this webinar, right from the very beginning. They've been always passionate about being part of this. Thank you so much. I saw one of our pastors also on the call earlier on, Pastor Mrs. Osia Kitola. Thank you also for always supporting this initiative. Remember, this is a monthly webinar. So we're coming again next month with another very exciting topic. So I encourage everyone to please, once the flyer is out, so please help also spread the news, inform friends and colleagues to be part of this journey. It's an absolutely free webinar where we just come in and our resource persons just keep engaging with us, keep sharing with us experiences, skills, and insights that can help us keep growing and keep improving in different endeavors that we find ourselves. So please feel free to visit the YouTube channel also of the Mindshift Initiative. Just search for Mindshift Initiative, and then you'll find all the series, all the past editions of this webinar series. We also have a WhatsApp community where we also try to keep everyone engaged. We keep supporting ourselves with resources, insights, news that are coming up in different subject areas. So please feel free to reach out to us. I'm sure you have our email address. Feel free to reach out. Just request to be part of that committee. I will be very much happy to welcome you in. Once again, on behalf of our convener, Pastor Oluwaseun, and myself, and the all of the supporting team, the volunteers that have been part of this initiative, want to appreciate everyone for being consistent. Thank you so much for your time with us. I want to wish you the best of the day ahead and the week ahead. Thank you so much. Feel free to turn your camera just to say bye-bye as we close the session. Thank you. I see Marvelous. I think Judith, thank you so much. Sam, Mr. Pastor Sam Atuyebi, thank you for being part of this. Temitope Solomon, thank you. Madinka Oyeleye, thank you so much for being part of this. Daniela, thank you. Etim, thank you. Yola, thank you. Dokas, we see you. Thank you. Jamil, we are celebrating you. Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us. Kennedy Ojo, thank you. Toby Loperino, thank you. And Joseph Victoria, thank you. Oluwashola Jude, thank you. We celebrate every one of you. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you, everyone, and bye for now.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.